Legs a bit, huh?
Just delays a bit.
Okay. Borgstömmen tar det vi. Godt task. Legs a bit, huh? Oh, wow. I watched it. Before I begin my update for today, I want to take a moment to remember 215 children whose remains were found at the former Kamloops Residential School in British Columbia. This is tragic news that has affected the entire Indigenous peoples across Canada and the world. We mourn for the loss of each child who didn't make it home from residential school, including those from our own nation. Unfortunately, we are all too familiar with the effects of colonization in residential schools, and there are no doubt similar stories of genocide to be brought to light. Please be kind to yourself and to each other. These are trying times for all of us, and when we mourn these children, we are mourning for all victims of the residential school system. We see you, we hear you, you are not alone. If this has reopened wounds you are having difficulty dealing with, please reach out. The Residential School Survivor Crisis Line can be reached by calling 1-866-925-4419. You are all in my prayers. I would also like to acknowledge one of our staff members is in mourning after tragically losing his daughter. We are supporting their family and sending prayers. Our thoughts are with you through this most difficult time. The number of COVID-19 cases in First Nation communities throughout Alberta is on a downward trend and is currently sitting at 194 cases, down from 425 2 weeks ago. At present, 42% of First Nations people aged 12 and older have received their first dose of vaccine, and at least 16,783 First Nations people have received 2 doses of the vaccine. The vaccination rates appear to have effect on cases numbers, and while this is strong in response, we will still need to do our part to keep our community safe. Continue social distance, wash your hands often, always wear a mask when you are in public spaces, and if you are sick, stay home. Isolate and get tested. And if you have not received the vaccine, our clinic is still open for appointments. Please book yours today. If you have questions about the COVID-19 vaccine, please visit yourhealthourstrength.ca for more resources and information. We want you to have all the facts before making the decision to get vaccinated. As for the rest of Alberta, there are 7,646 active cases of COVID-19 as of May 31st, and those are 3,484 people with variants of concern. We know that the variant is highly contagious, and that's why we must continue to be very careful in observing all public health measures on and off reserve. Let's continue to keep our communities safe. Health Canada has authorized permission for Pfizer vaccine to be stored at regular refrigerated temperatures at -28 for use up to 1 month. This means that there will be more storage options available for the vaccine, which will allow more flexibility in immunization planning. Pfizer is currently the only vaccine approved for the use of under 18, and this will help increase on-reserve youth vaccination rates. Health Canada will continue to monitor the safety and quality of all COVID-19 vaccines. Alberta Health has also recently changed the quarantine approach for those who have received a licensed vaccine. You are considered partially immunized for 14 days after you receive your first dose of the vaccine. If you are exposed with someone with COVID-19 and are partially immunized, then you must quarantine for 10 days from the last date of exposure unless you get tested. If you receive a negative COVID test on the day after your last exposure to the person with COVID, you still have no symptoms, your quarantine is considered over. If you're fully immunized and are exposed to someone with COVID, you do not have to quarantine as long as you do not have any symptoms. Again, this is only for those partially or fully vaccinated. The original quarantine rules still apply to those vaccinations a full 14 days from the date of your last exposure. We are almost at the end of this pandemic. We have worked so hard to overcome this, but most importantly, we work together. I want to acknowledge the partnerships we've had with the federal and provincial governments to assist in providing information to our members and ensuring vaccines are delivered to our nation. The federal government has also provided funding in order for Alexis to run our own health messaging and campaigns, protect our elders, and your health, our strength. Both campaigns have been very successful. The Protect Our Elders had a national audience reaching over 20 million people. It has informed the federal government how nations can guide their own communications and be successful in reaching our people. It is changing systems internally at the federal level and even received an award of excellence from the International Association of Business Communicators. Our council has pushed themselves and worked so hard for our community. They supported everyone throughout this entire crisis and did everything they could to make things seamless. They answered phones for our scared members and talked them through some of their most challenging and trying moments. Our emergency response team has done an amazing job maintaining our safety throughout this year. Our staff, including many, have gone above and beyond their jobs to help throughout this pandemic. I want to thank you all for what you have done for our community. Ishnish. It's really important that we continue to stand with one another. As I mentioned, we are almost there. Keep following the protocols, keep each other safe. We have to look after one another. As for our school update, the Alexis Nakota Sioux Nation School continues to adapt an ever-changing set of circumstances due to COVID. I'm sorry to report that the end of school year activities will not take place this year. However, during the month of June, the following events and activities are scheduled to occur. Track and Field Day will be on June 9th. High school graduation is planned for June 22nd. And the kindergarten graduation is scheduled for June 23rd. So please contact your teachers and invite family members to help celebrate. The final days of classes will be June 25th, and report cards will be distributed on that day. A lot of kids are working hard during this time, so it has not been an easy year for students, and I understand that ongoing stress and that both students and parents face during 2021 school year. As of May 30th, we have been in school for 46 days out of the possible 160 instructional days. Our school average attendance for 2021 is 26%. During at-home learning, attendance was based on student participation in online activities. The situation highlights the difficulties we face for the remainder of the school year and for the years to come. A summer school program is recommended for those who need it, but will only work if there is participation from students, parents, and the community. The summer program will be divided into primary, elementary, and junior high groupings with 2 teachers assigned to each section of a 2-week term, the first being from July 12th to 23rd and the second from July 26th to August 6th. Services available will include second language proficiency, student counseling, physiotherapy, and other support services. The final stages of construction for the new school is nearing completion, and we'll need to carefully review the school to determine any deficiencies before the Alexis Nakota Sioux Nation assumes ownership. Landscaping, flooring, and millwork, and purchasing and placement of textbooks and related instructional material supplies are just some of the items undergoing review for the new school. School administration will carefully review the school facilities to ensure there are no deficiencies from the school's perspective. We are still accepting family photos for the new school until June 10th. If members do submit their family photos, if they do not, they will not be added afterwards. The photo collage needs to be completed for the nation mural that will be at the new school. At this time, our students have not completed enough literacy and numeracy assessments to inform us as to our students' current and future instructional needs. The issue of how we cope in this lost year will require careful consideration. Therefore, the following will be implemented for the 2022 school year. Our kindergarten to grade 6 students will remain in our current facility for 2022 school year, and grades 7 to 12 will move to the new school. The kindergarten program will remain as is, a full day program offering 900 hours of instruction during the school year. Regrouping students in grade clusters for grade 2 and 3, grades 4 and 6 will be implemented to provide more focus and appropriate instruction in literacy and numeracy. We are very concerned that our junior high school students will not have gained the skills and knowledge necessary to be successful in high school over the next few years. The year-long gap make it very difficult for our current junior high students to recover from. The junior high program will use the specialist teacher structure next year. We will have specialist teachers for math and science, language arts, for 3 double periods both each day. Non-designated staff will need to cover off subjects, both core and complementary. The grade 10 to 12 program will not require adjustment due to its structure and content. Many of our students have not been successful in completing their courses this year and will need to repeat them to earn credits. Though the number of students in this situation will require much higher than normal, we have the systems in place to deal with the situation. All high school students are encouraged to enroll in our summer high school and work experience program. We need to encourage all of our students to get back on track in school. This is the benefit for the future of Alexis Nakota Sioux Nation. Further to our school update, on June 3rd, all schools across the province can access free online sessions on mental wellness. Individual sessions are available for kindergarten to grade 12, including teachers, staff, and parents. The theme of these online sessions is take care of yourself and each other. It is a way to recognize the resilience of school communities during COVID and offer some engaging sessions on supporting mental wellness. There will be a performance and message, country musician Brett Kissel, an inspiration message from the Calgary, Edmonton Oilers and Calgary Flames, and more, as well as fun activities for children and youth. The next update will be of particular interest to business owners. The province has announced up to $370 million to help businesses support jobs for unemployed Albertans. Employers will be eligible to apply for grants that cover 25% of an employee's salary up to a minimum of $25,000 per employee. Employers who hire people with disabilities will receive a grant for 1.5 times higher than the amount of other employees. If you own a business and want to look into these supports, visit alberta.ca/jobs. No, you have until August 31st to apply. As for daycare update, the Alexis Nakota Sioux Nation daycare service is designed to meet the needs of both children and parents. Childcare in the community is in high demand due to parents working or attending school. So to ensure staff can adequately attend their children's needs, the child ratio will be maintained as follows. For babies, a 3-to-1 ratio will be maintained, junior, toddler, 4-to-1, preschool, 6-to-1. The daycare currently employs 12 full-time positions. The staff at the Nakudi Daycare strive to provide quality childcare services to parents of Alexis. The Nakudi Daycare team will provide ongoing cultural learning for children throughout a consistent, structured, and safe interactive environment. I want to remind members that the daycare has a no visitor policy and there is a drop-off at the door service available for children. YTC's data forum is taking place on June 8th and 9th for YTC 4 Nation. It's a virtual meeting for band staff. Please register online. The links have been posted on the ANSN page. The community language class and the bear training participants went on a site to visit last week to Mitashi Naranaji's gravesite. Mitashi signed treaty in 1877 for our people in Alexis, and in his final days, he went to his traditional area to rest. With restrictions soon lifting in July, we are very excited to move forward with our Nakota Strong event on July 1st. Street Heart is headlining, plus others, and we can't wait to celebrate as a community again. We hope to see you there, and we ask everybody to come out and practice safety guidelines. Following Nakota Strong, we'll be kicking off our annual powwow again for the first time since the pandemic. From July 2nd to 4th, we'll be welcoming Northern Cree to host drum and join the celebrations. It's so meaningful for me personally that we can get back to our ways, celebrate our culture, especially with our neighboring nations, brothers and sisters. We invite you all. Our businesses have been thriving despite COVID-19. We are resilient in making it through. Thank you for joining me for another update. A reminder to all Alexis Nakota Sioux Nation members that as of today, the rest of June, it is National Indigenous History Month. Though we are in mourning right now, there's a lot to celebrate about being First Nation. I encourage you all to participate in any number of virtual events throughout the month. Take in a virtual powwow, listen to an Indigenous podcast, read a book by an Indigenous author, attend Summer Solstice Indigenous Festival hosted by the National Association of Friendship Centers, and join us for our ceremonies. We also have ceremonies that are finishing in this month. We have three. We just finished one last weekend. It was beautiful, and we have three more ceremonies that are coming up. So for all the family and friends out there who are still looking for prayers to participate, there's still that opportunity. So with that, I'll take any questions that you may have. Veronica's asking a question. What restrictions will Alexis have during the powwow? We are working through those. We did, I believe we had a powwow meeting last week, and we'll continue to have those committee meetings. And we're going to make sure that we follow guidelines to keep everybody safe. We're also encouraging people to be vaccinated and to bring their registration for that. I don't see any other questions. With that, I just want to say to all of you, thank you very much for joining me on this update. It's certainly, we've come through a difficult time here, and it's unprecedented. It's not something that has been planned in our community. And again, I want to acknowledge my council as well as our emergency response team, my entire staff, the community. We've also had elders who, right at the beginning of COVID, they went out and they started gathering. Started harvesting and started looking after the people. And, that's what community is all about. It was to try to get us all through this difficult time. And here we are, we're looking at right at the end of this pandemic. Things are starting to lift right now. And I just want to say that I love you all so much. And I'm so proud of everybody who's done everything. It's very sad that we did lose some members, and we continue to say prayers for those families. So with that, I hope you have a wonderful week, and we'll inform you on when the next update is going to be. So ishnishi chigem no matodebi akishu chimap the one.